Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of PSR. Today we're messing with some nods again. This is the MH-1 from Low Light Innovations. This is a night vision binocular that is very lightweight. It is made out of magnesium and titanium alloys. It has a very small footprint and it is very modular. Before we delve deep into that, these could be yours. We are doing another collab with Fan of Them. Gives you guys an opportunity to potentially go home with one of these while also supporting the channel. These are valued at around $8,500 and they're Elbit tubes in here. So very Gucci setup. These things rock. I've used these quite extensively. I use these at Moons Out, the night vision competition, and they did awesome. But these could be yours if you're interested. Fanofthem.com/PSR. That's fanofthem.com/PSR. You also get a merch item in return for your support. So the link to enter will be in the description. Thank you so much to you guys, and thank you to Fan of Them for providing this opportunity for you guys to potentially get a pair of these. Before we get into talking about the details, I gotta thank the sponsors. First off, Atrius Development Group. Atrius Development Group makes the FRS. They have an Ambi, a mil-spec one now, and they have the G-Lever, which is compatible with Geisley triggers. If you'd like to go a little faster with your AR, 3 positions of fun, never in a million years, use PSR for 10% off your entire order. Huge shout out and thank you to those guys for sponsoring the channel. Lastly, I gotta thank HSL Ammunition. HSL provided all of the ammo we're gonna shoot tonight. These are their 220 grain 300 blackout subsonic rounds, high quality and very affordable ammo. So if you're interested in those 220 grain subs or any other defensive or range training ammo, hit up HSL, tell them PSR sent you. Thanks to HSL for sponsoring the ammo on this channel. So the Low Light Innovations MH-1. What does MH-1 stand for? Well, it, I believe stands for Modular Housing 1. So this is Low Light Innovations, and I'll just refer to them as LLI from here on out. But this is LLI's first entry into a super modular housing. I don't know if anyone else is doing it quite like they do with the modularity of something like this. The feature that stands out the most about the modularity of these things is the ability to take each of these tubes off of the bridge here. So this is the bridge, and use them separately as monoculars. So if you and a friend are going out and doing some night vision shooting and you want them to have a way to see in the dark, which is kind of important, you can split these up and one of you can wear one side, the other one can wear the other side independently, just like a PVS-14. Basically, it's a bino that acts as two PVS-14s if you want it to. Shooting with binos or just navigating with binos is way easier than just a single tube. But if you want to split up the fun and you only got one unit and you don't have a PVS-14 for your buddy to wear, which I can totally understand because it's an expensive hobby, then you can do that. So you're just going to take out these 4 screws here and they become monoculars, which is extremely cool. You could also just take one off and then keep the other one on the bridge if you want to use the dovetail and use the bridge as the mount. And I do have these kind of silly caps here, the eyeball caps. We got sun coming in really hot right now, so I really don't want to damage the image intensifiers in here. It looks a little bit bigger actually than what it is because these caps, if I take the caps off and don't point it at the sun, you can see how small that is. These are tiny, especially comparing them to my old Bino set, which was AGM NVG 40s. That's a great entry level housing, but this really takes it to a different level in terms of the form factor here and also the weight. So the weight of these puppies is coming in under 16 ounces. It's just around 15.8 ounces, which is wicked light, especially when you compare it to something like my old Bino set, which were around 22 22 to 24 ounces. So that is a whole lot more weight. This is just about a pound, which is really good. And that means you don't have to run a heavy counterweight on the back of your helmet, which always helps. So the way that they're achieving this is the form factor, much smaller. These are PVS 14 style optics, really pushing the boundaries in terms of just how small a pair of binos can get. And another aspect contributing to the size and weight of this thing is, of course, the material, which I mentioned earlier. This is a magnesium and titanium alloy housing. I think the only things that are steel is like the screws, basically. Another feature of this thing, this has a modular dovetail. So it comes with a secondary dovetail, which can either bring it closer or further away. I haven't had the need to swap that out, but that is an option, which is cool. Another feature that's cool about these goggles is they have dual IR illuminators, which I've actually never seen on a bino. Usually it's just one IR illuminator. If you're not familiar, an IR illuminator, it acts as a flashlight that only night vision can see. These have not one, but two of them. So you can get a extra bright IR illumination in there if you're not worried about other people with nods seeing you at night and you just want to navigate or do some admin tasks, reading something. You can switch both of these on and it'll be pretty damn bright. It's pretty cool. That's a neat feature for sure. You can adjust the tension of the arms, so you can make them really stiff or really loose if you like it like that. Personally, I like it just how they came. I haven't had any reason to switch it, but you can make this essentially tighter or looser, this motion. And another thing about that motion is these have an auto shut off when you flip them up. They shut off independently. So let's say you want to use your right eye to aim with a thermal and you want to keep this one on. You just switch this thing up and it'll turn off this guy, but it won't turn off the one on the left, and vice versa. Each of these turns on and off independently when you flip it up. So auto off, on, off. Pretty cool. Another thing that's modular about this housing is like the battery power source. You can swap this out. Right now I've got the CR123A. You can switch it out to AA as well. And if you want to run an external power source for more runtime, you can just plug it into here and you can run a battery pack with these goggles. Another thing that's modular about these is you can use both a ball detent or a dovetail. So you're not just married to the dovetail, but personally, I like the dovetail. These have manual gain control via a 4-pin plug-in, and there's no soldering required. I believe you can change it out to no manual gain if you like. Personally, I like the manual gain. Another really neat feature, which unfortunately we don't have on here, you can buy an adapter that's made by LLI, and that adapter allows these goggles to be panoramic. The pano adapter allows each of these tubes to rotate out, which makes your field of view much greater. There's always downsides and upsides to switching to panoramic night vision. Trying to aim passively is one of those disadvantages with pano night vision with just 2 tubes. With 4 tubes, you've got 2 looking straight forward, so it's not a problem. But with just 2 tubes with panos, if you're looking through the optic passively, you'd have to like tilt your head really awkwardly over the stock of the rifle. If you're doing passive aiming, I would keep them just like this. But if you're doing primarily active aiming with a laser, the panos are a really cool option. So let's talk about my thoughts after using these for about 3 months now. So LLI put these together. I sent them the tubes from my old AGM. These are Elbit Gen 3 white phosphor tubes. LLI shipped these to me actually to an Airbnb when I was at Moons Out. I had never used them before, so I was just like kind of going into it very raw, not having experienced really any other housing. And when I got these, I was just kind of shocked at how little they were and how much lighter they were than my previous housing. And I strapped them onto my helmet and they just felt right at home. And we threw it into the gauntlet like immediately in some really gnarly weather. At Moons Out, I did the staff match and that was on Friday night and we got a ton of rain. We got poured on. I mean, we got these absolutely soaked. Like it was pouring rain. The front of the lenses, of course, had water coming down them. There's no issues with like any kind of water leaking in or anything. Starting it off with a brand new housing that you're just like, this is very nice. I don't want to hurt this, but they're a tool just like any gun. You shouldn't be worried about getting them dirty. We threw them right into the rain and they did great. One of the things I really immediately noticed in doing the Moons Out competition with these is just how much lighter they were and how much easier it was to just kind of move around. And I didn't think about them on my head nearly as much as the old housing, where I feel it on my neck, and I never felt it with these. Like these are a massive improvement over those. The performance of the tubes themselves I was very familiar with, so looking through them, it was just like looking through the old housing. However, the glass on these are very, very good. That is one thing I will say about a housing. If it doesn't have good glass, you're gonna notice it immediately. For most of the competition, I kept these down because it was pretty dark. But in the few instances where I need to check my bag with a red light or something like that, it was just super easy to just flip them up, and you can flip them up this way and kind of keep them really tight against your helmet. If you're interested in this housing by itself from Low Light Innovations, it comes in at around 2,000 bucks. I think that's a decent price for what it is. Low Light Innovations also makes a more affordable version of this. It's called the UH-1. It is a fiber reinforced polymer. I'm sure the UH-1 is plenty durable, but for only 500 bucks more, I'd probably end up just going with these if I was gonna build them out. I've never used the UH-1. I'd love to try that thing out. So those are some of the features of the MH-1 housing and my thoughts on what it's been like using these for about 3 months now. We're waiting for it to get a little darker, and then we're gonna do some shooting with these, and I'm gonna give you kind of my live impressions. It's a beautiful day out right now, not a cloud in the sky. So when that sun goes down, I think we're gonna get a lot of really good ambient light. The gun we're gonna shoot with tonight is my little Honey Badger at home. All the parts on this gun were supplied by Optics Planet, so a huge shout out to them. Put this thing together for night vision shooting specifically. Optics Planet came in the clutch. Thank you to them for helping out with this build. I think it came out pretty sweet. I put this thing together using the actual Honey Badger barrel. So this is a 7.5 inch, 300 blackout. We're gonna be running 220 grain subs. The suppressor on here is the Optimus 7 from Griffin Armament. This is a gray Cerakoted Anderson lower, kind of cool. Running the HB PDW brace, similar to the Honey Badger. For a laser, we're using the SMS Trinity. We've got a MimTac trigger in here. We also got the Q-Cert rail on here. The Q-Cert, I'm not sure if I like fully am on board with it. It's cool, but there's just not a lot of accessories out there for it other than the Q ones, which are kind of expensive. All right, so that's the MH-1 housing, and this is the build. We also have a B&T SPC9. Maybe we'll bring that out with some subs. We'll see you when the sun goes down. All right, we're out here. It's dark. There are a couple like IR floodlights at the range for security purposes, so it is maybe just a little bit brighter than completely ambient light, but it's a beautiful night. The stars are out. You can see so many stars. And that's one of the awesome things about nods. You can see just about every damn star in the sky. I was showing you earlier, you can just do one tube down if you want. Auto shut off on one. So right now that's just one tube. And if I had a thermal on here, I could just kind of close my left eye and then focus on the thermal. Let's just shoot some 220 grain subs from HSL out of the little Honey Badger clone. Let's see how she runs. This can is kind of a flow through can from Griffin, the Optimus 7. So it's maybe not the quietest 300 blackout can of all time, especially with the subs, but hit a couple close targets here. SMS Trinity is really a great laser for the price, man. Let's finish this mag out. Maybe we'll stretch her out a little bit further here. A little close and far. Nice. Oh, missed the last shot, but damn. The little Honey Badger clone, shoots all right. Minimal gas. I say we go into the woods and we'll do a little side-by-side and we'll film with the GH5 right now. That's what we're filming through. And then I'll film these through my phone the best that I can, just to kind of show you the difference between like a low spec PVS 14 and then like this one with the Elbit tubes, and show you just kind of the difference in the quality of the glass and just what it looks like. So let's do that. All right, so we're looking through the Elbit tubes, the MH-1. This is a completely dark forest. You can see it's got a little bit of grain, but compared to our PVS 14, which I'll show you in a sec, it is quite a bit better in terms of performance. You can see my shadow from the IR light there, but you know, if you look into the woods there, pretty dark, and the quality, the clarity of the glass is really good. All right, here is the PVS 14. This is what we're looking like into the woods. It's definitely grainier, definitely noisier image, and in the dark spots quite grainy, but it's not bad. And the optical quality, not quite as good as what's on the MH-1. You can kind of see it's just got a little bit of distortion, a little bit of out of focus spots. This is like a $2,800 PVS 14. Not bad. All right, last but not least, we're gonna close out the video by shooting this B&T SPC9. This thing is fully torqued. We got the Triggered Company 3-position FRT. Super, super fun, especially in this gun. And the best part about this thing is this Exigent Defense Rico 309 suppressor. In terms of like sub guns, at least on this gun, it might be like the quietest 9mm can I've tried with subs. It's ridiculous. You just got to see it for yourself. We're using the AMMJ Penumbra laser. AMMJ helped contribute to the development of the FRT, which is pretty sick. But just listen to this thing, just regular semi-auto into the berm. It's crazy. Dude, all you hear is just a little ping. Nuts, dude. Let's put her into third position. You can hear it into the berm with the FRT here. Listen to this. Damn, dude. Shooting the 9mm subs with an FRT under nods. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Golly. That is sick. Dang, dude. You can hear the brass landing. Shit. Let's see if we can hit the gong all the way down there with the FRT here. 2 hits. I'm gonna do a full review of this gun with the FRT in it, the SPC9, along with the GHM9, but that'll come at a later date. We're just still testing this thing out, seeing how it rips, but so far so good. This thing's awesome. And this can, bonkers, dude. Rico 309 from Exigent. Fake Surefire Vampire, honestly. That has been a review of the Lowlight Innovations MH-1. I know I said a lot of good things about it, but it's because I mean it. This housing, these tubes, all in conjunction working together is pretty damn good. I would love to try some of the other offerings out on the market just to kind of compare it with this, because there are some really cool housings, really cool development happening in the night vision space. The fact that you can pan them out, like I would love to get the pano adapter just to test that thing out, because if I can make that circle wider with the sacrifice of not getting the really great passive aiming capability, field of view a lot easier in terms of just walking around, navigating, having a little bit more field of view, definitely cool. Reminder guys, this pair of MH-1 nods, about $8,500 value, could be yours. It goes to help out the channel, and you get a merch item in return for your entry. Go to fanofthem.com/PSR. That's fanofthem.com/PSR to enter. The link will be in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun shooting at night. It's always so much fun shooting under nods. I think I'm gonna do a local night vision match a little later this month, and I'm gonna use these. So I'm gonna get more time underneath them, but I've gotten a significant amount of time so far, and I really, really love them. LLI is doing some really cool stuff. They came out with a quad setup at SHOT Show, so I would love to eventually check that thing out. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. It means the world, and thank you again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Mm.